The BBC microbit is an open source ARM based microcontroller. It comes with a Bluetooth module and onboard sensors such as the accelerometer and magnetometer, which were used in this project. The accelerometer is used to measure acceleration along 3 axes. The x-axis measures from left to right, the y-axis measures forward to backwards, and the z-axis measures up and down. The magnetometer sensor works in a similar way, capturing values along 3 axes. The inter-integrated circuit, or I2C, is a protocol used to allow multiple devices or chips to communicate with one or more master chips. I2C is intended for short-distance communications with a single device. I2C only requires 2 signal wires to exchange information and can support up to 1008 slave devices. I2C can communicate at 100 kHz or 400 kHz. There is a small amount of overhead with I2C during communication. The master device sets the clock line to high and the data line to low. This indicates the slave device that a data transmission is about to begin. Next, the address frame includes the address using the most significant bit followed by a read or write bit to indicate the operation. An acknowledgement bit is used at the end of each frame, and once the first 8 bits are sent, the receiving device gains control of the data line. The data is then transmitted over the data line by either the master or slave depending on the read or write bit. The low to high transmission on the clock line followed by a low to high transition on the data line indicates the end of transmission. This is known as the stop condition. Serial Peripheral Interface, or SPI, is a synchronous communications protocol used for short distance communications. SPI is faster than I2C, up to 100 MHz. SPI uses full duplex communications with one master and multiple slave devices. SPI uses 4 separate lines for communications: the clock line, the slave select line, the master input, and master output lines. SPI uses individual slave select lines to select communications between slave devices. The falling edge of the slave select signal indicates the start of a transmission. The master input-output lines are then used for data transmissions. Memory-mapped input-output is used for input-output communications between the CPU and peripheral devices. The CPU and input-output devices share the same memory location. This means the processor and the input-output devices are mapped using the same memory address and use the same address bus. This means any instructions used to access data are used on input-output devices. The program code was written on mbed and downloaded onto the microbit. Next, the Bluetooth scanner app was used to find the microbit device and connect to it. Each service defined in the code to access the sensor values were then chosen from the list of available services on the Bluetooth app. From each service, a value for each of the X, Y, and Z axes could be then read from the microbit.